The movement has begun.
Congressman, we want to come up and make a couple of words?
He was riding right along. See him when he stopped and he was videoing all that's going by.
Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for allowing me to ride with you. It's truly an honor and a privilege. I have to thank my team, Dave Weber, as my district director, who put all this together, and my beautiful wife, who allowed me to get back on a motorcycle again.
Yeah!
This, you know something? We deplorables, we beat Hillary Clinton. We showed her that we have a voice. And the more we get this out there, even more of these runs that we're having, more bikers, the women, the men, the law enforcement. You know, I was in law enforcement for 18 years as a prosecutor, or our veterans, our active military. We're the salt of the earth. I came from a poor family. So we are the ones that are the backbone of this country. You are the ones that are the backbone of this country. And I can't thank you enough for what you've done for us over your lifetimes, what you've done in the last election, and what we are all going to do together in the next election. Win these midterms, elect Trump again in 2020. I mean, who can complain? Who can complain about lower taxes, more money in your pocket, more border security, more business coming into the country, stock market up, portfolios are increasing like crazy. You can't imagine how many Democrats I come up to me and say, I'm voting for you and I'm voting for Trump again because my family, you guys improved the quality of life for my family. So I thank you for what you are doing. Please continue. I'm at your disposal. I work for you. And if you need something or will allow me in another ride, just call me. Thank you so very much.
Hey, round of applause. Round of applause for all the veterans here.
There's no question about that. I am out in the country.
The movement has begun.
And that's
It's not going to
necessary.
stop
Just,
us.
if you want to live out here,
No way.
you have to have a gun. Oh, yeah.
Democrats have no
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, send us that star-spangled
more doors.
Thank all of you. It's great to be here with Congressman Tom Marino and the next U.S. Senator Lou Barletta. Bill, thank you, my fellow board member, for urging me to get out of the swamp in Washington and come back to my wife's birth state to support a great cause. Yesterday, I was at Arlington National Cemetery for the interment ceremony for D.D. Foss, the widow of World War II Medal of Honor recipient and U.S. Marine fighter pilot, ace, former NRA President Joe Foss. On my way out of the cemetery, I encountered a young couple pushing a baby stroller who were, at least from my perspective, apparently lost. I stopped and asked, "How can I help you?" My 5 favorite words. They were looking for the way back to their car, and so I gave them a lift back to the visitor center. After the usual, "Where are you from? Do you have a relative here?" In fact, her dad was killed in action in Vietnam, and his brother had been killed in action in this war against radical Islam. She asked, after we got through those introductory comments and questions, answers, "How did you know we were lost?" And I said, "Well, I have very good situational awareness." And she asked, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, situational awareness is knowing what's going on around you and having a plan to deal with it." I did not tell her that I'd noticed that they had a map, and he was pointing one direction and she was pointing in the other direction. But I will tell you this, that situational awareness is not a flower that grows in every garden. In fact, it is most evident in its absence. I'll give you an example. Each year, my wife and I take a group to the Holy Land. We're in a hotel lobby in Jerusalem, the David Citadel, one of the nicest hotels in the country, waiting for another couple to come down in the elevator, and a tour bus pulls up in front of the hotel, and I know instantly, because I have great situational awareness, it is full of Americans, gringos. Well, it did say on the side of the bus, Mike Huckabee Holy Land Tours.
Dignity back to our democratic process.
Every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet. You want to put it at my feet.
I felt like I needed to say something for all the people out there that I just spoke about, the people who have come together, who are together, who feel unified. That majority of people who obey the law, and work hard every day, and are just tired of people trying to pull them apart and pull them in all different directions. I think there's millions of me across the country, and I'm hoping that each one of those people will go out and tell these politicians we're not going to take it, and we're going to stand up for our rights, and we're going to hold on to them. Anyone who is concerned with holding on to the Second Amendment, I absolutely think they should join the NRA.
You can see more patriots like Mark Robinson. You get back home, you turn on your computer, and you go to nratv.org, and you can see a lot more patriots just like Mark. Remember 2016, when you were crucial to electing the most pre-freedom president since Ronald Reagan. I don't know when you heard about it here, but my wife is an election official down in Virginia, little tiny Clark County where we live. And she came home because she gets home late. She got home around 10 o'clock, and she said, "How's it going?" I said, it doesn't look good. She said, "He's going to win." I said, "How do you know?" She said, "He's going to win." And she fell asleep on my shoulder, which is kind of romantic when you're married at that point 48 years. And she suddenly wakes up when Fox News declared Pennsylvania for Trump at 12:05. And I was euphoric. Betsy looks at me and says, "I told you so, I'm going to bed." Look at the disarmament lobby that doesn't deserve to have people in Washington as leaders. Those who don't respect the service of those of you who raised your hands don't deserve to be leading anybody at all. But that's going to take we the people to replace them. The disarmament lobby supports sanctuary cities, open borders, fails to enforce existing laws against felons and drug dealers with guns. The Disarm America movement turns a blind eye toward the revolving door of criminal justice. They oppose efforts to take repeat violent offenders off the streets. And now the disarmament crowd wants to eliminate bail. Think about this now. I've known some guys who had to pay bail. Look at it. They want to eliminate bail for those who commit what they call petty offenses, and they include in that definition robbery, theft, and other, quote, lesser crimes. What the hell are they thinking?
Whose sacrifices make it possible for cameras to focus on your disgraceful protests. And when you teach children that our police are the enemy, you turn your back on the very law enforcement that keeps your stadium safe. We fight for the First Amendment as much as the Second, but while you use it disgracefully, we use it to tell the truth. We stand for our country. We stand for our veterans and our military. We stand for our law enforcement. And we stand for our flag, because we're still freedom's safest place.
Thank my deplorable friends, the women and the men who allowed me to ride on the motorcycle run with them this morning. It was fantastic. We're going to have great candidates come up here and tell you issues touching on the national, where we're at nationally as far as the economy, where we're at security. So I'm not going to steal that thunder there. I'm not going to steal the thunder at the state level. You're going to hear people come up and talk about what we need to do at the state. But I do have to say this. Who could not vote for a Congress, the Republican House, the Republican Senate, and in 2020, a Republican president for a second term, who has lower taxes for corporations, lower taxes for individuals, more money in individuals, hardworking families' pockets, security at the borders, bringing industry back into the country, creating jobs, stock market up, senior citizens seeing more money in their investments. Who could not vote for that? I'll tell you one person who could. One person could be Nancy Pelosi, who I took on.
First of all, I want to thank Bikers for Trump for coming out today. Thank you, I love you. Thank you, Chris Cox. Thank you, Colonel North, and all of you who have come out. You know, thunder and lightning is what they call Tom Marino and myself, and that's because they were afraid to call us sugar cones and lollipops. Tom and I have a way of telling you how we feel, exactly how we feel, and talking straight. So I couldn't be prouder to have a colleague and a best friend in Congress as much and as good as Tom Marino. Listen, if I was in a foxhole and I had to pick one person to be in that foxhole with me, it's Tom Marino. It's case law. He's against people who have committed crimes here, who are in the country illegally, committed crimes here, have been deported, and come back over and over and over again, commit more crimes. And he's against a law that would punish them and make sure that they never come back into this country again. He's against the tax cuts, against, the crumbs, the crumbs that so many people got. He's against the tax cuts. If you elect Bob Casey, you're going to see your taxes go up over $2,000 as an average family. Now listen, that's not crumbs to people here in Pennsylvania. The Second Amendment, he attacks the Second Amendment. I mean, we could go on and on and on. And he forgot about standing up for the unborn. He forgot about that. You know, when he was elected in 2006, he was a pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, moderate Democrat. That's not who he is any longer. He has gone to Washington and forgot who we are, and we are going to send him home.
It's great to be here. I'm going to be very brief. Listen, we're going to send Tom Wolf packing on November 6th. You know, Lou talked about what's going on in D.C., and listen, at the end of the day, I employ hundreds of people. We're seeing anywhere from $20 to $60 a week more in paychecks at our companies. You know what? As an American, I was so proud to see the caskets that came home from North Korea with the remains. Because we have a president in Washington who's standing up to a North Korean dictator. So there's a lot going on in Washington. We need to send Lou to D.C. and get rid of Sleeping Bob.
Yeah.
We also have a great slate of people. We have John Schrin, Dan Muser, Tom Marino. We need to get those guys to D.C. But can you imagine having Lou and the congressman that I just mentioned in D.C., and I have relationships with all of those gentlemen? Yeah. And what we can get done here in Pennsylvania, it's amazing. Now, let me tell you something about Tom Wolf. Tom Wolf's out saying a lot of things. I'm going to tax retirement of seniors, and I'm going to do all kinds of voodoo things. But I can tell you right now, something Tom Wolf is not telling everybody in Pennsylvania, as he did when he campaigned in 2014. He didn't tell anybody about that $4.5 billion tax increase. That's with a B, a billion. $4.5 billion tax increase that he tried to jam through in Harrisburg. Well, I can tell you right now, he knows in his mind, if he gets reelected, he's going to come back and he's going to jam probably a $6 to $8 billion tax increase on every Pennsylvania household. And you know what's going to happen? I did a little math. That's $1,500 to $2,000 a year more. And your school taxes are continuing to go up. I just saw.
Get rid of them.
We're going to get rid of school taxes, because here's my pledge to you. If you vote for me and I become the next governor, I will eliminate the school taxes on your heart.
Your home district. And when we talk about the 8th district, there's a lot of confusion, right? Change numbers, lines, but you're in the 8th district right now. A quarter of that district is Tom Marino's, a quarter of it is Lou Barletta's, and half of it is Matt Cartwright. It is fantastic to see everybody out here. And you know what Pennsylvania is legendary for? It's work ethic. If you go around the country, there's not anyone who will say to you that Pennsylvanians don't work as hard as anybody. And you know why? Because those are the values that we were brought up with. And that's why President Trump won here in 2016. And that's why
must go. That's why Cartwright must go.
Thank you. And that's why Bob Casey must go. That's why Tom Wolf must go. That's why Dan Muser must get elected. We need your help to work. Okay, if you work, we win, you win. All right? We heard repeatedly tonight about the agenda of the radical left. And it is an agenda. And it's not the agenda or the values that I grew up with in Pennsylvania. Their agenda is socialism.
What up, everybody?
We had more bikers on our ride today than our people standing out and sitting in this crowd. See, the thing is with the bikers, they only got about 45 minutes of riding and they need about 3 hours of riding in, all right? So they still had a little bit of throttle behind them and left in them, and they had to get out there and make things happen. But I've asked my friend Dennis Egbert to come up here because 2.5 years ago I came to this state. There were 18 people running for office. I had just finished in Florida. We were throwing rallies bigger than Rubio, than Kasich, than Christie, than all of them put together. And we only threw rallies when our president was then candidate was in a different state. And in the follow-up story, bikers for Trump throw rally bigger than Rubio, beat home field advantage, okay? People always ask me, why are the bikers behind the president? It's because the president tells it like it is, he wears it on his sleeve. Right? It's because he says things like radical Islam. It's because he talks about things like building a wall. Those are things that resonate with us, okay? Promises made, promises kept.
That's right.
I'm proud that we got a president with the work ethics of a farmer who happens to be a brilliant businessman. And we are in a really good position. It's a really exciting time for patriots. And you know, we often hear about the silent majority. But you know what? There's no one here in this room part of the silent majority because of the fact that you're here. And the fact that you're here doesn't mean that much unless you show up on the 6th of November. Unless you bring what a field PA has. And I can't speak enough about all the candidates. But see, right now, we're going to go to the top of that food chain. And who's that? That's Lou Barletta. Okay? Lou Barletta, that's the top of that food chain. Everything from there that's trickling down. Hey, Mr. Marino, this is the second or third time he's ridden his motorcycle with us, okay? We got a big soft spot. Moving forward, Pennsylvania. Lou Barletta, Lou Barletta, Lou Barletta, Lou Barletta, Lou Barletta. Let me tell you why. Because these people are going to go to this ballot box and they're going to vote right down that ticket line, okay? So if you want your congressional pick, if you want your governor's pick, or you want whoever you want, start by saying Lou, 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 Lou Barletta. Because a vote for Lou Barletta is going to be a vote for the rest of these guys that are running for office, okay? It was the Oval Office, and they were saying how proud that we were here getting behind Lou, and how proud that they are that we're out here in front of these candidates trying to make a difference. And you know, when they started that whole red wave talk, the Bikers for Trump, we are the genesis of the red wave, because we came out the gate. We've already flipped races, okay? Remember Karen Handel and John Ossoff in right outside of Atlanta, the 6th district of Atlanta, Georgia? $50 million was spent. Most of that money came from California, okay? The Bikers for Trump turned out 3,800 bikers, and we helped swing that according to a front page article in the Washington Times. Epic. Now, several months ago, we had another special election. You know, you remember Debbie Lesko in the 8th district in Arizona? Well, she wrote a letter to the president giving the Bikers for Trump credit for shifting that and helping bring her through that finish line. So see, the Bikers for Trump, we have turned out countless votes for the president from people who have never before voted in a presidential campaign. And they voted for the first time, they voted for Donald Trump. Now we're a political scientist. Can we turn these same bikers out for congressional, Senate, and gubernatorial races? I think we can. And if we can, we're going to be true difference makers. All right? And that's what it comes about being a true difference maker. I'm going to wrap things up here real quick. In order to be a difference maker, you got to have an open channel of communication. You got to be well received. You got to be able to listen a little more before you talk, okay? So the biggest difference to me in the red team and the blue team is the behavior. The behavior of the Trump supporters is pretty epic considering what we're up against. And people always want to talk about the bikers are there to protect you, the bikers are there to protect you, you know? And yeah, I agree, but you know what? That goes without saying. The bikers are there because they're veterans and because they're blue collar. And speaking about the blue collar, the president told me personally in the Oval Office that the greatest thing that the Bikers for Trump did is that we brought tens of thousands of votes in Ohio and Pennsylvania away from the Democrats and brought them to the Republicans. And so as they grew weaker, we grew stronger. It was like taking 2 votes. So I know you guys are here and you want to hear the band, and I'm going to wrap things up. We can't thank you enough for being out here. Guys like Dennis Egbert have stepped up with me. We had 18 guys running, and wasn't very popular now. And, you know, it's just unbelievable the support that we've got. We had, like I said, we had more bikers on our ride today than we got in here. And God bless them. They're probably getting gas right now so they can get another half a tank. Thanks, everybody. What are we talking about?
money back in our pockets. If you like the way that we have voted to get rid of job-crushing regulations, you know, Lou and I voted 40 sometimes, 50 sometimes to get rid of Obamacare. There's one thing I want you to understand, and I want you to tell people, because Casey's running an ad that's saying that we, Lou and I and others in the Republican Party, are cutting Social Security. It's a lie. See, when you don't have the facts on your side, you lie. Let me tell you the truth. Who cut Social Security? When Obama realized
And I'm Candace Kelly. Momentum is already picking up for election season right here in Luzerne County. Today, the GOP showcased their ticket.
Eyewitness News reporter Morgan Parrish is live for us tonight in the Wilkes-Barre newsroom with details. Morgan?
Candace and Nick, good evening. Hundreds of people joined together at Mohegan-Sun Pocono for the Thunder and Lightning's Trump Fest. A campaign-style rally today in Wilkes-Barre Township. The spotlight was on Congressman Tom Marino and Lou Barletta. Marino is looking to hold a seat in Washington, and Barletta is trying to knock off Democrat Bob Casey. Each man made his case for your vote.
Obviously, the Democrats want to stop what President Trump is doing, so this election between Bob Casey and myself is one of the most important elections in the country. Some people need to come out.
we're going to be stymied if Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats take over the House. She called us deplorables again today.
The rally's theme, the midterms have meaning and consequences. Marino and Barletta say low voter turnout could hurt.
You know, one vote can mean the whole difference for our country and what direction we go.
It's sad to see the low numbers of people vote in a presidential election, let alone in a midterm.
Supporters poured in Mohegan-Sun Arena to hear from their nominees. And they had plenty of backup. More than 400 bikers with the group called Bikers for Trump rode in for the rally.
He's exemplified leadership here in the state of Pennsylvania. He's very well liked. He's well received about everywhere he goes. And he doesn't mind getting in the trenches with the people.
Mason-Dixon Band and late 70s country rockers Molly Hatchet added musical flair to the event.
And we need Trump because we need that wall built and we need to feel safe in our country again.
But not everyone in the audience was in favor of the Republican effort.
All this stuff with Trump, I don't really like him that much. My family doesn't like him really.
Other speakers tonight included Lieutenant Governor nominee Jeff Bartos and retired Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. In the newsroom, Morgan Parrish, Eyewitness News.
Morgan, thank you. The general election is quickly approaching on November 6th.